Welcome back to Birth by Sleep Commentary. Doing episode 2 today. 3, 2, 1, go. These are the definitely not heartless. Don't get confused, guys. They're not the same thing at all. I promise. I felt like the overall quality of the music in this game isn't quite up to the standard set by 1 and 2, but it's still pretty good. Boosh. Dang, he's already got Curaga. He's not messing around. I have a feeling there were some shenanigans involved in the abilities he's got here. The other ones don't seem particularly suspect, but Curaga, at the start of the game, I don't know, man. This is one of those music tracks that really stands out. There's a familiar face. Yep, Tara just believes that clearly evil-looking woman. Tara's a trusting sort. So, given Maleficent, this is the... Oh, what's that? Sleeping Beauty? Yeah, I believe it was the Sleeping Beauty area. So she's on her home turf here. The Heartless, as I recall from the Ansem reports, more or less don't exist yet. So that's why they had to create these unversed, which are pretty much the same things, just they look like more Super Sentai than Disney cutesy. But they have pretty much all the same types of enemies. And there you can see a command style. He combined a particular set of movements together, and that gave him the ability to go into fatal mode. And once you're in a mode, you can then fill a bar after that, and then you can get a super move out of it. And you can see up there that little crown floating in the air. This game has puzzles too. It's a pretty cool room here. Nice environments in this game, even though they're lower detail. Man, he wasted no time unlocking that door. One might wonder if being forced to suppress his darkness made him less able to control it when it was forced out of him. Nice job, Ericus. We're keepers of the peace, not soldiers. Meteor crash? Brutal blast? What? I wonder if what he did was put it on the highest difficulty so it would be easy to get the ending cutscene that you unlock. That you can only unlock, it won't just play on its own. Because on the highest difficulty you can get it just by finishing the game. And you don't have to do a 100% journal or anything like that. So maybe he put it on the highest difficulty and then gave himself a bunch of crazy abilities so he'd be able to easily complete it. Or something like that. I don't know. Seems reasonable though. I wouldn't want to do a whole 100% journal in this game because you literally have to do it 3 times, one for every character. And the journal isn't that much smaller than Kingdom Hearts 2, so it's super grindy. And that's why I've done it this way instead of actually played it for you, because there's just too much grind. And this way we get to see the story all in order too, instead of in 3 different parts and then have to try to piece it together. Interesting concept for a boss. A sewing machine. How many games do you get in which you fight a sewing machine in a castle hallway? Kingdom Hearts is crazy, man. This might actually be an arrangement of a Kingdom Hearts 1 song. This sounds pretty familiar. I think it is. So you can see there that doing actions are filling up that bar, which are what allow him to then go into that critical attack. Sewing machine's angry. And he's being so careful. It's got to be higher difficulty. See, if this were me playing, I'd just get hit by this a bunch of times and have to heal. He's all guarding and avoiding damage, and it's crazy. It's almost like there's a more patient way to play this game. But that ain't me. That ain't me. I just hit stuff until it dies and get hit in response. Heh. He actually added that line in there. It doesn't actually say that. A lot of cool little edits you might miss if you hadn't seen this before. How about that, he says. Calm down, Cersei. Jeez. Dwarf Woodlands. She already said the thing, so it's definitely Snow White. Huh. Interesting. I think what he did was he used the song from the movie. Hi ho, off to work we go. But Disney was like, nah, bro, calm down. Can't have that. Yeah. It makes perfect sense to have that song playing here, but Disney wasn't having it. The W in dwarf was actually shaped like an apple. That's really subtle. An interesting thing to note is that Ventus means more or less air, you know, vent in Latin, and Sora means sky in Japanese. And as I understand it, the Japanese have an affinity for dramatic trios of characters, where one represents air or sky, one represents the ground or earth, and the other represents water or the ocean. And the same is true of Kairi, which is a word for ocean, and Aqua, which is water, and then you have Terra, which is ground, and Riku, which is kind of an earth sort of word. Couldn't tell you if Hain or Pensionnlet mean those same things, but it's a running theme in Japanese fiction or mythology. And we definitely have 2 sets of those trilogies, or trios here already. Birth by sleep, or people are jerks to Ventus for no reason. And I guess there was another trio in 358. You had Roxas, Axel, and Shion, but they don't quite match the pattern because Axel's fire and Roxas doesn't really have an element, nor does Shion. Dang, overkill, dude. Calm down. You almost killed that dwarf. Yeah, he's getting like crystals all the time, which means he's got to have some kind of lucky equipped, especially with how many of them are dropping. Look at that, man. That's crazy. Unless crystals are of a different value. Eroga. Yeah, there's some convenience hacking going on here for sure. Totally understandable. And I mean, really, if the other 2 were training to be masters, and Ventus wasn't that far behind, you'd think they'd have some pretty powerful magic at hand instead of just like a base level cure, or moves that aren't even combos. It's a cool move. Speed Rave. What a hassle, man. And all for nothing. Stupid dwarves. Whew, boy. There's actually a secret boss in Kingdom Hearts 2 that I wasn't able to show you that sure looks a lot like Terra's Keyblade armor. It's called the Lingering Will or the Lingering Sentiment, based on which translation you're using. He's definitely got his Keyblade, and he uses some of his abilities, but it doesn't appear to actually be Terra. It's kind of a strange mystery that took 4 years to answer, I guess. No, maybe longer than that. I think this was actually a 2011 game, where 358 was a 2009 game. (2010). So 5 years. The focus part of the UI down there is used for the shot lock, which he doesn't seem to have been using much of. The D-Link is something else interesting that he hasn't been using either, which I didn't really use that much in my playthrough. But you're able to kind of summon the essence of characters that you've met and get some of their abilities. So like Aquaterra and Ventus can kind of sort of invoke each other and get some of their moves. And you get access to other characters that way too. It's kind of a replacement for proper summons. I don't think this game has summons. At least not that I remember. But you can do some cool stuff with it. Like Mickey will make you pretty strong, give you a good cure, so on and so forth. Another issue with playing this game on the PSP was the PSP itself. Kingdom Hearts is kind of a physically demanding game on your hands. And the PSP had that crappy little slide pad, and it was very narrow, so if you didn't have a case or a grip or something, if you tried to play this game for any amount of time, it was pretty uncomfortable. But on PS4 and PS3, that's less of an issue. Betty Boop over here. Or she's naive or an idiot. I don't think anybody's heard that name before. I'm sure you remember how each member of the organization had their original name with letter X added and then kind of rearranged to create a new name. Curiously, Xehanort also is that way. It's another with an X and then mashed up. But Xehanort himself is not a nobody, so one wonders if Xemnas just kind of remembers that his name was like that, so he used that for the other members. And it might just be one of those little background details that Xehanort means another. You know, there's probably something to it. Very little of, or if, I don't know if anything in the way the story was written is incidental at all. It seems to mean at least a little bit somewhere. Wow. That was a hell of a combo. Get him, Roxas. I mean, Ventus. My name's Vitamin D Deficiency. You ready for some escort mission? I know you are. I know you love those. As if the unversed weren't enough, now you have evil trees too. This isn't an Evil Dead, buddy. Ventus is going to chop you down before you get any of that Snow White. Hey, you ever wanted to fight a mirror? You can do that in Kingdom Hearts. No mountain too tall, no idea too ridiculous. This is definitely one of the more annoying fights in the game. But if you know what to look for, it doesn't have to be too bad. It can be a little disorienting though. Busted. Super heartless tree. I mean, inverse tree. Totally different from the heartless. In a world where trees get sick air by jumping. Man, what a scary ass world that would be. I like those little memory flashbacks he added in. Alright, you guys, that's episode 2. And we'll see you next time.